Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to take a step away from the core content for a moment and muse a little about the channel, the content itself, as well as present my own personal thought about the topic of UFOs, UAPs and non-human intelligence. Think about it as a sort of a self Q&A, so if you have a question or opinion on something said today, fire away in the comments and I will be more than happy to engage and reply. Let's start from the beginning. Where does my interest in the topic come from? Quite frankly, until last year I had next to no interest in UFOs. The only thing close to it was that I have always been a bit of a space and astronomy nerd, but that was pretty much it. I did have a distant cousin who was a ufologist in the family, but he passed away over 20 years ago, so sadly I will not be able to ask him anything or talk about the topics we discuss here, obviously. I did consider the possibility of alien life as something real, but probably in the way most people around us do. I was in the boat of people thinking that the universe is so huge. After all we know, we only see a small part of it, and we don't really know how big the universe really is. So there was a logical travesty in thinking we are all alone. Sure, perhaps intelligent life was around 1 billion or 2 years ago, or will come hundreds of millions of years after us, and thus we will never meet. Not to mention the vast distances of the cosmos, but that was it as far as my beliefs went. However, I have always had cursory interest in the weird. I was never much of a believer in the paranormal, to be honest, but I enjoy a creepy story and generally reading about the unusual phenomena. So I think it was the end of June last year. I was browsing Reddit one evening before going to sleep and I stumbled upon the Are UFOs and Are Aliens subreddits. I discovered that there are quite knowledgeable people in the community discussing sightings, cases and non-human life. But more importantly, the community was abuzz with the upcoming UAP hearing before the US Congress. I thought to myself, I could watch that, why not? I made a mental note and waited for the 26th of July. I experienced an ontological shock back then. To see the top-notch professionals claiming what they have seen and heard cannot be the work of human hands and minds was shattering the walls of reality, and I, and probably many others have or had. I concluded that there must be something to the words said that night, and I started researching, reading up everything I could find. And so the interest was born in the topic, and with it changed my views and beliefs, and that was just the beginning of a wild ride ever since then. So the next thing, am I an experiencer? As you can probably guess from what I have already said today, no, I definitely have not seen any non-human beings, and while I have seen a few strange lights in the sky, and none of them displayed clearly anomalous characteristics, and thus I have no reason to believe they were not made by our own species, whatever they were. That said, a close member of my family did have a sighting back in the late 1990s, and after analyzing it, we could not find any prosaic explanation behind it, and I have no reason to disbelieve the report, so there's that. How has my belief in UFOs, UAPs and non-human intelligence changed? I should mention first, UAPs are real. At least 4 governments have admitted that these objects are real, operate in our collective airspace, and we simply have no idea, at least officially, as to what they are and who is controlling them. Given that, it is also very easy to arrive at the conclusion that they are not made by human hands. As to what their modus operandi is, I have no clue. I take into account the various theories floating around, from potential military recon activity through simple observation, not unlike our observations of animals in the wild, to some form of a planetary surveillance network guided by AI of non-human origin. And what about the aliens themselves? I think that at least some, if not most, of the UAP observations are likely unmanned craft. This applies in particular to metallic orb-like objects, small disks, and various objects which have less tangible characteristics. Whether we talk about plasma forms, some sort of energy projections, and so on. But that said, it also seems that we are quite indeed visited, or perhaps we are cohabiting the Earth with at least one non-human species, and quite likely several different types of entities are involved. The sightings of grey, stalwarts and man-manted beings are simply too numerous and too vivid in some cases to dismiss them all as something impossible. Especially if we take mass events like the Zimbabwe mass sighting of 1994 or whole armadas of unknown flying objects like the Phoenix Lights or the Belgian wave into account. I admittedly have no clue how many types of beings may be around and where exactly they come from. I am not sure anyone can be certain about that, quite frankly. It is also possible that at least some of the craft come from an underwater or an underground base of sorts, not unlike the famous Fortune League claimed, which I hope to cover in one of the next episodes. Speaking of which, what I would like to cover coming forward. I am currently doing some research about the hot topic of the alleged crashed and retrieved UAPs presumably used in reverse engineering black box projects by various countries. We have been given information hinting at approximately how many of those may be in the possession at least of the United States, but also possibly of other countries. I would also like to cover the aforementioned Fortune League and the Reddit leak regarding alien biology. While the safe assumption in both cases is that they were just elaborate LARPs, some elements of the leaks hint at least some degree of either insider knowledge or very deep interest in the topic, and those leaks are quite entertaining in any case, in my opinion. I am also interested to see how the story of the Nazca mummies or bodies develops. Again, regardless of whether you think that the mummies are real or hoaxed, they are a very intriguing find all the same, especially that carbon dating seems to consistently confirm that they are a genuine ancient find. Even if they are a hoax, said hoax would have to be created hundreds if not well over 1,000 years ago, which raises a lot of questions in itself. Namely, who and how did it, being the most obvious ones, and not exactly easy to answer. And if they are proven to be bona fide non-human or hybrid once living beings, we should adjust our academic textbooks quite solidly in certain areas. Hopefully we will learn more about the mummies soon. In addition to the above, I noticed interest in less known cases of sightings and possible UFO crashes. I've been thinking about a few of those I have not yet covered, just to name the Voronezh sighting from 1990s in the USSR, the Ghost rocket wave in Sweden in 1946, and the Hesdalen lights in Norway, just to name a few, and probably the alleged crash in the Kalahari Desert in 1989. Hopefully we will also have another UAP hearing in the Congress this autumn. There is the upcoming The Program documentary by James Fox, supposed to include first-hand witness or witnesses to the super-secret UFO-related program operated by the powers that be. As always, I am also open to suggestions and ideas you would like to hear about. After all, the channel exists mainly to spread whatever little and precious knowledge we have about our friends from out of town, as Lou Elizondo named them in his recently released book. So leave a comment and we'll pick up from there. So this is it for today. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up as to where we are going, what I thought I could focus on in the near future, and so on. Until the next time, take care, and I will see you soon in another video.